Okay, um, this is how to use this midiLatch thing and the the apparatus, and hopefully this works. Let's see. Hopefully I can make it all through. Um, so in the manage plugins, once you have put the file in the right place, which was common file, program files, common files, VST3. It shows up as audio plugin example, and that it shows up on your effects list. We're going to do this inside of Patcher though, so I'm going to replace this with Patcher. Do 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 Patcher, and add a plugin, audio plugin example. So first off, it's missing its green port. What you do is you double click, and this is the interface. There's nothing. And once you roll this up, you've got a port. So we're going to do input port 0, output port 1. And just as a note, MIDI ports inside of Patcher are like in a sandbox, and so those are uh, independent of the rest of your system. This is just inside of Patcher. So next, we need a green port for the out. So we go to right click on the 2FL input events and just choose MIDI port 0. So we hook the green to the green like this, and that should be good for Patcher. Go ahead and close it. And next, where is this going? So I'm going to show the MIDI settings here. What you have to install loopMIDI by, I have this web page open. Tobias Erickson, thanks for this. loopMIDI, once you download it and install it, you'll find it down in your taskbar tray, if it's running, and you double click it, and first, all you have to do here is click that plus, and it'll give you a new port. It shows up on the list, and so that's good. You can just close that. So back to FL's MIDI setup. Patcher's going to send out, sending to port 0, and that is the output for loopMIDI, and then it bounces back and comes in on port 1. So you just, and you make sure to check enable here, and you're set up with that. So what we need is something to receive from loopMIDI's input. And so we'll make a layer and right click the layer, and you see receive notes from, and if you have loopMIDI set up and enabled, you should have that on the list. We'll just choose MIDI channel all. So Patcher's sending out to loopMIDI, it's coming back and hitting this layer. And so next we need some sampler channels. They have to be sampler. Audio clips won't work because those don't have envelopes. So I'm just using a sample library that had some sort of bland loops, and I'm going to throw a bunch in on sampler channels. Ooh, I'm going to turn this down for this part. could have scrolled the other way, but if you set your preview audio channel, you can have some way to turn that previewing down. I'm gonna give them a bunch. So okay, that's enough for now. But you're not limited. I guess you have that many possibilities for your notes or your individual tracks you want to trigger. So okay, get the layers showing off somewhere. Get this out of the way. Drag across all these, set children, and then this little triangle menu here, you split children. And what that does to each one of the children is the root note and the zone get set to the corresponding, so it only responds within a certain zone, and the root note is tuned so that it sounds at the right pitch for that zone. So yeah, so we need to set the cut groups for every one of these, and that's just going to be roll the wheel up on every one of them. So click the gear, roll the wheel, click the gear, roll the wheel. I'll do this for every one of them. I think when I take a look at the code more thoroughly, I haven't looked at it at all. I might compile it as a standalone and see if that can obviate the need for having patcher. That would be nice. So here we go, almost done. Roll the wheel. So all the cut groups are set. Now we need our envelopes. So on every one of them, I'm going to right click the attack and the release, and I choose 32 steps is good. It's a nice long crossfade. And so go through 32. I can just copy that value now and go through each one. Go here, paste the value. And this is very tedious, I know. I hope it works for you. But it's okay if it doesn't. I needed something to break the ice with VST programming. I don't know if I was ever going to get around to downloading and installing the Juice framework and Microsoft Visual Studio and all that. So this has been kind of a fun learning experience for me. Alright, so attack, release, those are the main things. I forgot about turning sustain up. That might be good, because the decay will, if it seems like they're coming out quieter than you want, you'll probably turn sustain up too, all the way. Did I get this one? I think I did. Yep. Okay. Almost there. Okay, so they've all got their cut groups set, and they've all got their envelopes set. Hey, wait a minute. Normally, Oh, you know what? Paste was a bad choice because it doesn't turn the envelope on unless you turn the knob. Pasting the value doesn't activate that. So, okay, live and learn. Gotta go back and do this to every one of them. Got it. Okay. So layer, um, works. I'm using my keyboard, so I've got the root note, C, and the octave 5. Layout is piano. And so C is so the reason we had to have that MIDI loopback utility was because who wants to have to hold a note down the whole time? So if Patcher, if it's all correctly set up, I just hit the note, and then when I choose the next one, crossfades over. Control H to make things halt. And so that's it. It's actually set up uh, for the time being. Like this is a good start, I think. I don't know what else I would do here now besides save this so I don't have to do it again. What's this? Audio. Okay, so wow, that was quicker than I thought it'd be. My keyboard didn't fritz out on me like it did last time. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna take a look at trying to get rid of having a need patcher, so you can just, just use the layer directly, or I don't know. It is kind of nice to have like, as long as you have this green, like this highlighted, you know where your notes are going, and the other thing is I don't know how this. Let's show what I mean. Keep on disk. If you have really long files, these aren't so long, but hey, some of them already come checked. Oh, right. That was the first sampler. Doesn't have that, but all the rest of them do. So, yeah, you probably, if you have, what you're going to want to do is your performance mode stuff in the playlist. You're going to want to do consolidate track, and I hope that works because I can't see how that would work in performance mode. I'm not familiar with doing the markers things, and because of the way that it loops, you would have to, let me see here. So like if you had a thing that you knew was like 16 bars long or whatever, then you could make it so that you had like if it's looping in those 16 bars, you'd want your loop to be that long. And I don't know what I'm saying here. It like your note would be that long, and so you're just like, you know what I mean. It would be Control H, Control H. You're gonna definitely want to use that hotkey. Um, okay, so I'm gonna finish off with like a, just for posterity's sake, how I compiled this. Um, so this is the boring part for programmers. This is the Sean Wayland midiLatch repository. The license is GPL3, so you're cool to use it. And in order to compile this, just had to download I cloned the repository to my desktop and downloaded this Juice framework. Just downloaded this zip file, unzip that, and put that inside of the midiLatch folder. And then after downloading Visual Studio Code and Visual Studio Community Edition first, when you're installing Visual Studio Community Edition, you check the box for desktop development with C++. And also you have to install CMake. And so once that's all done, you get in your terminal in the folder. This should be on my desktop, right? Yeah, midiLatch. So I put the Juice folder inside of the midiLatch folder, and then you go in the Juice folder to examples, CMake audio plugin, and this CMake list.txt. You copy that up to midiLatch. So here, this is what it looks like before it's edited. This stuff here, you need to edit this little section under Juice Add plugin and uncomment this line here. So I'll go over to the edited version. And so you uncomment, they add subdirectory Juice if you put Juice in a subdirectory called Juice. And then where Juice Add plugin, VST copier, this is just sort of like a temporary place for me to find the output without having to look around. Needs MIDI input and output, both have to set to true. Is a MIDI effect true? Copy plugin after build true. Plugin manufacturer code and plugin code, I just made up some 4-character IDs, and I changed this to VST3. Let's see, isn't standalone? I thought that there was, well, let's go look at the, okay, and then I gave it a product name. So that was all that I had to do there in this file, but there was more. We'll get to that in a minute. I want to research this standalone thing. Where are we? So here's our example, the unedited version. Yeah, standalone was here. Let's try this. I'm gonna put formats VST3 in standalone and save this file. Just both of these. So the two other files that need to be edited are plugineditor.h and pluginprocessor.h. They have a hard-coded path. Whoever wrote this put their Juice folder in a different place, so you just have to change that. Is this line right here where include Juice header was like ... something else. And so I just edited line 13 on plugin editor H and plugin processor line 13 also. So once that was done, it was able to compile, and we will try it out. We'll get this closed and start from scratch. So I open terminal in the midiLatch folder and do CMake dash capital B CMake dash build Okay, and then cmake dash dash build, cmake dash build to actually build it. Blip, blip, blip. Let's see, will it work? Oh, standalone. Well, those are warnings, but it seems like they're okay. Come on, come on, you can do it. Okay, where's the standalone? midiLatch. Where's my... Okay, cmake build audio plugin example artifacts. Debug standalone midiLatch. Right, okay. So we'll follow over to the VST3 folder. This is my output. Hey! You know, I didn't change anything, but it actually built a different name. I mean, this is the first one I built. This is the second one. So I'm going to copy this and then go to Program Files, Common Files, VST3, paste, continue. I'm going to get rid of the first one. And I'll test this all. What is going on? Let's see who's doing what. Oh, I left FL Studio open. Yeah, whatever, sure. Try it again. Okay. So now I have midiLatch named properly and everything. And we'll try and see if FL Studio can find it and if it has a problem with the other one. Right, yes. You can't find it because it's not there. Okay. Go into Patcher, delete, add, wait. We gotta do the manage plugins thing. So find the plugins. midiLatch found. Somewhere down in the M's here. M. Okay. So midiLatch is found. Add the plugin. midiLatch. Alright. 0 and 1. Hook it up. Does it still work? Well, okay. So I'll save this file again. Let's make Patcher not be read. FFFFF2. Anything. Right then. So now where did this midiLatch cmake build artifacts? Why is standalone dir its own thing, but standalone midiLatch exe? Okay, so before I do that, I'm gonna close my loopback. Stop loopMIDI. Run this. It's running. What kind of options do we have? Audio MIDI settings, MIDI output, MIDI inputs. I don't know what I need to do here. Inputs. Oh, I guess maybe if I had, I'll use the LPD8. I probably have to, like, there's probably a problem there, but no, let's just leave this unchecked, testing it out. So midiLatch is here. If I go to FL Studio and do a new empty, new layer, and we'll just do two of these here. So the envelope, see, it automatically turns on your envelope once you do that way. It's the better way. Okay. And I'm going to turn that up. And decay and hold don't seem to have any effect here. Like, we don't need it. Cut group, yes. Cut, cut, and cut, and then envelope, set, 32, 32. Looks good. We'll turn that up, see if this really matters. I'm gonna map them to this. Control L. So I can turn it way down. So the layer, set children, and split. Now the problem will be if, oh, I didn't use my LPD8. I've got it mapped for really low notes. So I would probably fix that by tuning this note, like right clicking somewhere. But let's see, what do we get? Wait. Receive notes from, no input port. What about MIDI stuff? Do we have midiLatch? I don't know where MIDI, I don't think, I don't think it's done right for a standalone. Like, I would have to really know what I'm doing. No. So, what do I need to do here? Where's midiLatch? Options. I'm going to say receive from, well, it won't let me check that box now. That's weird. It did. I don't know what any of these are. Sound grid. I don't use waves stuff. Well, why can't I? Oh, because the LPD8 is being used here. So if I turn this off, maybe, and then go back. Yeah, okay. So my LPD8 is talking directly with midiLatch, and we'll see what if we can get by with no MIDI output set, because there is no MIDI output to set. Nothing is happening. Receive, maybe gotta do receive notes from, nope. Well, it doesn't look like the standalone is gonna work for this, but that's okay. We already had it working. Why mess with something that works? But that's too bad. Anyway, I mean, you're gonna have to run something. You either run loopMIDI or you run a standalone 6 of one, half dozen of the other, right? So it looks like this is that. If I wonder what, I wouldn't want to send it back to the thing. The wavetable synth is no good. Maybe none. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud. This is pointless. Close midiLatch. Okay, yeah. So loopMIDI is the only thing you need to install aside from the the plugin itself. And good luck. I hope this works. God bless.